Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start out with our roll call. Councilor Ray is here. Mr. Mazier-Collins.
Here.
Councilor Pettigill.
Here.
Mr. Hill. Selectman Rennie.
Here.
Mr. Stefanik.
Yes.
Councilor Ward.
Here.
Councilor Lunt.
Here.
Councilor Walker.
Here.
Mr. Pelletier.
Here.
City Manager Kroll.
Here.
Mr. Tibbs.
Here.
Selectman Nichols.
Here.
And we still have a vacancy in District 7. All right, so we've got a couple of things to review. So I am going to motion to suspend the rules to add a couple things to the agenda. Second for Mr. Mazier-Collins. Any questions? All those in favor? It's unanimous. So I'm going to go ahead and add, we need to do a correction to the EMA budget. When we were considering it, there was $600 for office supplies, and that motion actually passed, but we did not add it into either the expenditures or the revenues at that time. And so the new motion that I would be making is to take EMA expenditures, that's account 1010, and take that from 204,601 to 205,201. So that is motion, seconded by Mr. Mazier-Collins. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. And that will keep our total expenditures, just so folks have a number in front of them, to $15,744,336. So we'll get to that in a minute. And then I'm going to make a motion on the revenue side for EMA matching funds account 9025 to take it from $135,833 to $136,133 to reflect the addition of half of the expenditures. Seconded by Mr. Mazier-Collins. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Also unanimous. Okay. Housekeeping done there. Our revenues are now going to be $2,491,374, but we'll address those in a minute here.
Actually, I don't think I'd worry about it.
Why not?
I don't believe you'll find the revenues actually for total jail and support prisoners.
Okay.
You want to do.
I got the wrong numbers. Yeah.
The general fund would be $2,613,720, and the support prisoners would remain at $2,491,474.
You got it. I just used the bottom of the page. I was settled.
I looked at that too.
Perfect. Okay. The second item to add to the agenda is to have Sheriff Sampson speak with us about the jail reserve.
I'm bringing Major Shoot with me in case I get something a little off. So last meeting, you guys agreed to supply $100,000 of funding for a body scanner. We got in contact with a vendor. We spec'd out the one we wanted. It came up to $150,000. Jeff approached the vendor about if we could get other counties to join in, we'd give us a reduction. They basically said if we get 2 other counties to make a purchase where they're coming from the West Coast, they would give us a $10,000 discount. So we scheduled a Zoom meeting. We had counties come. We saw who was interested, who was planning on purchasing them. Currently 2 counties have them, Cumberland and Somerset. Hancock was trying, but they lost their funding at the last minute. Penobscot's got issues whether or not to build a new jail or not, so they're really not in a position. Aroostook has the ability, but I don't know how far, and York wants to do something. So we don't know where that stands. On the presentation, we discovered the body camera also would be beneficial to the facility to bring back contact visits once COVID's over, which we had severely reduced. And we could also scan packages, deliveries, products, things like mattresses that get delivered. So it will have far more uses than we ever thought possible. But why I wanted to bring it to your attention, and I don't know if I missed anything. Well, it'll take your temperature, and it also eliminates the records you don't need after 2 years. So it has a self-maintenance, 2-year maintenance warranty, installation, everything's included. How it was constructed was very good quality as well. And if you have more questions about the actual unit, I'll let Jeff answer you. But why I'm bringing it to your attention, because obviously you budgeted $100,000, where that's money you're budgeting that we wouldn't be able to make use of. Worst case scenario for the purchase and installation, everything included, is $150,000. And we don't know how likely it is to find 2 other counties out of the remaining 12 that are looking at the purchases. So why I sent you the email is I guess tonight would probably be a good time for you to decide as a committee to put in the budget going forward with in the anticipation of $150,000 or returning $100,000 back to the reserves and come back next year. Personally, after what I learned about it, after the vendor came from Massachusetts or a representative did, to go through the whole demonstration, I'm more supportive of this now than even before because of the additional things that allow us to do within the facility. But I also understand, and I don't know, like Alan knew how much money was available in that count. So it is really your recommendation on what to do. I respect it one way or the other, but it's no sense budgeting $100,000 if we know it's probably going to cost $150,000.
Okay.
And thank you for the understanding.
Awesome. So that would, so the jail funding reserves are at 500. We budgeted 100, which would be 150, so take us down to 350 in that fund.
I would make that motion for discussion.
Sure thing.
Second, Pam.
Okay, I got a motion from Mr. Ward, seconded by Mr. Majerus. No, it was Mr. Rennie, sorry. You're always quick on the draw. Who would like to discuss this? Questions, comments? Mr. Ward.
I have a question less about the actual money that we earmarked for the purchase. My question is for $150,000. I can appreciate that it's something you would want. Is there a formal process for purchasing that we still have to go through?
I know in the past we've put things out to bid, but Jeff's gone to trade shows, and the comparison to this.
It's a trademarked patented item, so to get this particular unit, you have to buy it from this company.
Okay.
Right down to how the framing was done was unique to, there's no like nuts and bolts. Everything is, and originally these were used in airports, I believe you said.
And the prices of all the other levels are pretty similar. They're all kind of in the same ballpark price-wise. This really fit for our facility. One of the big selling points too is that we can go through the 36-inch door. We wouldn't require any special installation, and it ran off a 110-volt outlet. So it was really came down to fit in our physical plant. Our open area is quite small.
The other part, the scanning itself, it's side to side where most have it on the floor and up, so you miss large portions. And it also, like if you have a pen here in a traditional scanner, on the scan it might show it's up here, where this one will actually show the exact location. That was actually the thing they used. The other part of it is it doesn't take up as much space. This is 3 feet by 9 feet by 6 feet, where others have this like portal that you enter into. And for validation purposes and accountability issues, another thing we liked about it, as you approach the machine to go, it takes your picture. So whatever you're scanning, like I can't have you walk into it and scan you, because it's going to show your picture. So then we know that somebody committed an error. So this one has a lot of safeguards in it like that.
Okay, again, for clarification, I'm okay with the funding associated with this, as long as there is a mechanism at the commissioner's level that actually affords the latitude to be able to go, this is what we want to be able to do, that does not violate.
There's a
There's
process.
a waiver competition.
There's a process to do single source.
Okay, as long as you've got a provision there that actually the commissioners can vet when the time comes, I don't think that's what we need to be doing here tonight. This is more about knowing assurances that was already in place. Thank you.
Further discussion? Mr. Majerus?
Sheriff Sampson, I remember, well, the last meeting, not last week, but you had told us that you weren't going to waste money. You were going to get something that was good, or you weren't going to get anything out. And I really appreciate that. I can just wait up on jail both safer and also more health and healthy and humane in the sense that we can prevent tragedy like we saw this summer.
Well, and in relation to health and safety, with COVID going on, we also looked at this might give us the ability to change our pat-down procedures. And it might be able to help or assist us with, you know, the proper affidavits and warrants with law enforcement efforts in the street as well. Again, we were actually blown away by the capabilities of this thing. It's a solid investment.
Further discussion or questions? Mr. Rooney?
And these capabilities, they're not add-ons. This is for the $150,000.
This is the machine. They came, they did a demo, say, here's our machine, it's called the Tech 64 or something.
Yeah, technical.
Tech 84 is the company, and you know, here it is, here's where they stand, here's the thing that takes your picture inside, there's no hiding from it. And when he went through the demo, that's when there's no add-ons. No. We didn't say, we like chrome trim and a black little
You know, the programs that you're actually looking at, they show you how it works and what it does for you, the benefit to the county itself and to the jail personnel. There's no...
Nope, they included the maintenance, they included, you know, everything involved, and it was all in, and it was 148.9 or something.
3 days training.
3 days training was included, the 2-year maintenance agreement, the setting it up, the shipping, the the little tablet that you use away from the machine to look at everything. You program it to store, you know, after two years, it deletes.
It's up to stores 1 million views.
Yeah, we're not gonna have use like New York has out of it. So we figured 2 years automatically, that's how it's programmed to delete, that'll be well within reasonable for us. We do 5,000 intakes a year. We've stopped contact visits, but like I said, it'll give us a chance to revisit that, because there was a lot of contraband coming in through that at one time. That was it might give us the opportunity to re-explore bringing those back.
Thank you.
Good.
Sheriff, I don't know if you can answer this for Larry probably, but I love the idea of the item. I've worked in the facility, I know and understand and appreciate the multiple uses for it. My question is what authority do we have as a budget committee to be making recommendations as to where the sheriff spends his money on? For an item that wasn't in the budget, I just feel like we're overstepping our boundaries a little bit. The charters doesn't keep it clear as far as what the authority is. Can anybody answer this?
If I recall, said of this budget committee process after the charter vote, we are a recommending board to the county commissioners. I think that was all under our first.
Right, the motion that we made at the previous meeting was that actually earmark funds for that purchase. If we don't actually make that purchase, then we have no oversight that it.
Is that a response to Mr. Rooney? Okay.
Yeah, I also would say that, nobody on this committee would deny our ability to cut something if we wanted to. It stands to reason that we're providing a budget process that we can also ask. That seems to be what this is about.
I appreciate the question, Mr. Nichols. I think it's a good one to ask, but I would say, I left last meeting and was talking to a colleague or a friend or something and said, I feel like we're actually making a difference here.
I understand
Which
the
felt
difference. I mean, I'll take the item out of question if it was a plow truck. I know
Yeah.
when we go to our town meetings and our budget committee makes one recommendation, board of selectmen make another.
Yeah.
We can't take a higher recommendation from somebody in the audience to make a purchase. And
Right,
so
yeah.
that's what we were doing here.
Yeah,
But as long as it's all,
yeah, I think if they end up returning that 150 to reserves, that's what happens. I really hope that doesn't, but I think it's a good question to be asking. Mr. Titus, what your thought first?
Sure, quick, in response to what Mr. Ward was talking about, the purchase process and going out for bids. I'm a little concerned only because I was hearing 100,075 last month, now it's 150. So I think with this board, you need to use about 2 to language. It says we authorize the use of up to $150,000 in this reserve account after with the council, the commissioners have looked at it and made sure that they're following the procedure for bids. I don't always like this thing, but they got the only game in town. We can't go anywhere else. It's the only machine that works, so we're stuck to the 150. And I'd like to know, maybe this board would not be the one that does that, but the commissioners, I think, would be obligated to make sure that we've done our due diligence. And we've got A, B, and C. C is the best option, even though it may be the more expensive volume, but it hasn't been one. A and B doesn't because of whatever reasons, but I think it would be their job to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck. But we can authorize up to 150, but not necessarily to spend for this particular machine. I don't think we have that approach.
I just will say, the numbers I heard were 100 to 160 last time it was presented, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I did say 100 to 160, and that's okay, but also understand that when we came to you last week, thinking 100 to 160 is because of the show that, you know, the conference we went to, but it wasn't our intention, nor did we think we had the opportunity to bring something like that up. When we looked at it, understanding how the budget process works, we decided, well, actually, we didn't have to. We got contacted by a number of vendors, and we could look at the machine, and we decided to invite one to do a presentation to basically the whole state, and that's when we discovered what we could get for a discount, if we could get others to buy in. Obviously, this is the ideal machine for our facility, and comparably, just the idea of the raise like this rather than like that, and the results it gives you. But I understand what you're saying. That's part of the commissioner's process, and we had, I think, about a week, or is it 2 weeks? Whatever it's been, not much time to put it together. So obviously, it would give us the answer to say, we know we like this one, but it gives us some time to shop around to see what else is out there. Because as you know, technology is always improving, it's getting cheaper. But at least you don't want to contact everybody to see what they've got and how to spec something out for bid until you know what is out there.
I actually understand, but I don't think this board can say, yeah, this is a great machine, buy it.
No,
It should be an up-to thing, but also the commissioners, I hope, along with the administrator, will make sure that we've checked out all the options, and this is the best option for what we want to use it for.
I understand.
Yeah, I think, the line we'll be adjusting is, what is it, the other reserves under supported prisoners to whatever amount it is, and, so we cut that budget line, I believe, and so I hope that's satisfactory. Any further questions or discussion on this item? We do not have a motion on the table for discussion?
Discussion purposes, yes.
Okay, so that is another one, thank you. Okay.
So you guys all set with us? I mean, go.
Don't go anywhere.
I would go and work it, yeah.
To make a friendly amendment that we change the motion slightly to say to authorize the use of up to 150,000, and only after this county commissioners have agreed that this is the correct purchase.
Anyone want to second that, or do you?
I have no issue with the front of the motion.
Do you, Mr. Rennie?
But one of the points that I would make, we kind of go back to the discussion we had here originally, is the fact that anything from us and his advisory stopped the discussion once I heard that there is a clause within the charter for the commissioners to be able to do a direct purchase. So I would afford them the opportunity to be able to vet that. Just trying to actually stay within the scope of what this group is, because right some of everything after the outcome of the court case that everybody seems to remember was the everything from us is advisory, nothing is binding, no matter if it's got the 12 votes or whatever, but it sends a message to the commissioner what the priority coming from the group is. And they clearly heard that when they went in this vote at the last meeting.
Great, so we've got the friendly amendment going through, because our folks have agreed to it. Any further discussion or questions on up to 150K for this process and purchase? All that. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Passes 11-1, Nichols opposing.
Can I ask a clarification question?
Sure, please do.
To the revenues that are actually before us tonight, then Mr. Post, 500,000 correct? It should go up, or should we?
It should go up, like 50,000.
Okay, so that would be 550. What is the balance of that account? Is it 350? Because I remember when we started this, that we had 500,000 available for the main purpose.
We use 100, that makes 4, and another 50 brings it to 3.
Okay, so if you need the revenue piece for that, so we just need to, when we vote on total support of prisoners, that figure needs to go up by another $50,000. Okay.
Ms. Fenderson?
Do we also want to vote on the broader budget as a whole?
We will get there.
Not the full, but like, I mean, that department, but it's all, you know.
Yes, we
You
can do
feel-
that as well.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to approve the jail budget with the new.
Everyone wants to calculator?
The support of prisoners expense needs to go up by 50 grand.
It's 2.5 million, that's not very good to say that. $2,541,074, is that right?
No, that's sure.
Dang it.
$7,565,000.
Where are you?
Support of prisoners. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What was that number?
All I said was the line under 10.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, no, there.
I'm doing so well tonight. Okay.
That's 736.
One more time. 7
No, we don't.
That's right. 7,552,686. No?
7,615,086.
Correct.
There we go.
I cannot repeat it, he said.
Is this what you just said?
7,615,686.
Wow. Okay. Is that your motion?
Yeah, that's my motion, yeah.
I'm so sorry, everyone. That won't do anything. Do I have a second on that?
Sure.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ward. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? 11, Mr. Nichols. Okay. So that happened. We will now move back into our agenda as regularly programmed. Consideration of the September 30th, 2020 Budget Committee meeting minutes for all.
Move to accept the resolution.
I have a motion from Mr. Rennie, seconded by Mr. Kroll. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those, no, it was unanimous, sorry. All right. Now, we'll move to agenda item number 5, which is our public hearing. It looks like Larry set us up with a little podium there, so if you are a member of the public who would like to speak, please come on up and give us your name and the town you're coming from, maybe.
And I would begin by pointing out that in your packets, you have some material from the Androscoggin-Saginaw County Extension Association, and you also have letters written by 4-H members in support of the budget for extension service. So I'll just refer you to that.
Hi, my name is Summer Woodcock, and I'm 10 years old, and I've been a member of League of Maine and 4-H for 2 years. 4-H means a lot to me. 4-H means a lot because I get to learn lifelong skills like communication, cooperation, concern for others, personal safety, and marketable skills. I get to learn those lifelong during experiences like citizenship, my citizenship project that I did this year, I was on the buddy bench. My buddy bench project included me raising money for 2 buddy benches for the elementary school and the primary school in my district. Me and my sister have also been able to start our own business called Chickswell and Beans Organic Eggs, and we sell organic eggs. We also get to do things like public speaking, which help us in a lot of events, and we also get to learn communication. We also get to learn archery, which helps us with concern for others and personal safety. We learn in archery lifelong sport and lifelong skills. Our club is also helping to start the first ever 4-H state archery team. We hope that you support 4-H. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. My name is Skelly, and I'm from Lee. 4-H has given me the opportunity to do things I've always dreamed to do. Because of 4-H, I have started my own business, Chickswell and Beans Organic Eggs, with my sister. I am the Chief Financial Officer, and I am responsible for income expenses. We have applied for 2 grants. Learning to manage finances is a lifelong skill. Because of 4-H, I am a part of archery and archery team. In addition to learning how to use a bow, I have learned communication with close commands, personal safety, concern for others, and responsibility. At 4-H, we've been working together with the directors to form the first ever state archery team. In 4-H, I have learned the opportunity to do public speaking. I have learned how to prepare a scripted speech, and I have built confidence in speaking in public. 4-H has helped me be the best person possible. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Melanie. I'm 17 and I'm part of the Antioch Design Team Council. I've been in 4-H for 13 years, and I can't imagine what my life is like without 4-H. It's taught me a lot of valuable life skills such as leadership, public speaking, time management, and learning to learn, just to name a few. These skills will always be a part of my future. Through this program, I've been able to teach and share these skills through opportunities that presents to educate youth around the nation. For example, a few topics that I learned through the Healthy Living Summit in DC. I've been able to teach about stress, or how to cope with stress and how to cope with thinking traps. I've taught nationwide classes, as well as statewide classes on internet safety and no mistake art. I've been able to teach several things and share the experiences that 4-H has taught me. Through this program, I've been able to watch kids and youth find their sparks and find what interests them. And I've also been able to see how it's impacted myself. 4-H means so much to me, and it's taught me so much. I'm happy that generations to come will have the same opportunities and even more than I did. Thank you for considering the financial support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Are there any other folks here for the public hearing? Going once, twice. All right, we will bring it back to the budget committee. Item number 6 is financial committee approval. I will start with the expenditures. Currently, our total expenditures, I believe, if I'm wrong, are at $15,744,336.
Yes.
Always.
That would be 794.
Alright, let's do it again.
15,794,336.
it actually feels like this year we're making a difference. I just want to draw whatever public attention can be drawn to the fact that this budget process has produced a number of really good outcomes, including this budget can be reversing dangerous and irresponsible cuts in the emergency management agency budget, restoring funding for 4-H and other programs that we constructing Saginaw County's Extension Association, and making our jails safer and saving lives by funding these state-of-the-art body scan. Budget committee is not always the most exciting place to be, but this year I feel like we've done a lot of really good work, and everybody in this committee and everybody in Amherst County should be proud of the process and the budget change that has been moving forward.
Any further discussion on the expenditures? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes 11-1. Opposed. I'm going to say you abstain. All right, let's look at our revenues now.
The general fund revenues would be $2,613,720. Support prisoners would be $2,541,074.
No, yeah, 540.
You said that, right?
Okay. All right, is that a motion, second?
Sure.
Sounds good, do I have a second? We can respond again. Discussion on the revenue side of the budget. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Mr. Walker, was your hand up for which one? For Boston State. Motion passes 11-1. All opposed? What else do we have?
You could go to the tax levy and highlight for the listening public that we started this budget with, I think it was a 0.36% increase, down to 0.23, minus the minor adjustments that were left for what we need to remain. And the other point that I would actually make would be to bring to the commissioners that, again, we're hopeful that the treasurer might have better information for insurance interest, which we would defer to the last meeting possible. So if there's additional cuts that can be made to this budget, we can actually take the benefit associated with that.
Mr. Ward? Any further thoughts, discussion?
I would just point out that in your package tonight, we just got the proposed state valuation, and so I did the calculations of the proposed county tax. So it shows the 2020 and the 2021. The 2021 is without any overlay added. The 2020 included overlay. One of the things that you will notice is that, and of course, each year, this is the year to kind of outlining that once the new state valuations come in, the change of the percentage of what you pay each municipality changes up or down, and so that has as much, in some cases, impact on the tax as the total amount of taxes or tax increase does. So, just so that you're aware of that as you look.
Any questions for the county administrator on that? Any? Agenda item number 7, adjournment.
Before we adjourn,
Yeah,
I'd like to get into the capital bonding proposal here instead. There was actually in the whole this year, the second time, it's the first time we're hearing it. We have a listening doc that probably want to hear something about.
This is just the first draft that was done based on the heating, cooling, and air conditioning, all of that stuff for both the jail and the courthouse. The downstairs where the patrol unit all is, that is absolutely horrendous. And then adding in windows and the probate renovations and that's where we are at this point. There'll probably be a couple more changes, but that's what we're looking at.
Can I ask a question about that? One of the things that caught my attention on this is the million for off-front floor renovations. So my 4 years sitting on the budget advisory at this point, I'm not remembering anything for what that figure would have entailed. Can you highlight what that is and explain maybe why it hasn't been in the 5-year plan?
That primarily has been one of those things that we knew we couldn't address, and then obviously $1.5 million is a significant amount of money. We knew we were going to have to do something with bonding if indeed that ever happened. It is a place where the working conditions where we're putting our officers is simply not acceptable. And so we've been at that, trying to get that done. It was finally finished here within the last year. And if Dave wants to respond anymore to that. But it's one of those. It's one of those things where we simply could not put it into a 5-year because it needs to happen all at once. What I have said was it needs it couldn't take a D5 to go from one end to the other. It'd have to be a D4 because a D5 is too tall, but it simply needs a whole renovation and everything torn out and redone to make it, because there are several steps and corners and just.
That's okay. But by way of appreciation, I will defer to the discussion that actually will point out the commissioners, because if I was sitting in Lisbon right now, the fact is I can appreciate that you're going to get the bond package that actually makes the best bang for this here. But I would argue just the opposite, that if you're for the first time actually introducing $1.5 million that's going to go before the voters, the first time for hearing, I think we did a disservice. I would argue in the future that anything that should be on the capital improvement plan should at least indicate what the true cost of what is going to be invested in this facility in the future.
I was just going to comment on what was downstairs, the multiple levels of flooring on one level. Floor like this, the drainage, the rooms built inside of rooms with no ventilation, the asbestos piping and leaks that occur regularly, the sewer that comes up through the floor. I think it's a good idea to all reconstruct it, but I would recommend maybe in the future, if this doesn't go forward, that when times are different, that maybe the budget committee actually just takes a walk through the area to see how it's made up, because by no means it's no exaggeration. And if you look at the plan that the engineers came up with working with Dave, as far as how to reconstruct and repurpose it, so it's actually functional with offices for CID, patrol, interview rooms, and evidence lockers and things of that nature, it would be a complete turnaround. And it also would allow you to repurpose that room in the event that we would ever need to relocate. I mean, as far as patrol services, it's probably a more practical building. Something will have to be done with that, you're in downtown Harvard. So it could have uses above and beyond what we're using it for, but this would give you a nice shell, and there's nothing overly grandiose. It's pretty much square or rectangular offices that will be reconstructed.
And sure, this is the basement where Mayor Cloutier and I took that tour with you. That's super creepy.
I can't really tell what you're saying, but I heard basement, so yes.
Yeah, it's not creepy, is what I'm saying. Mr. Venture's comments.
Sure, Coach, when do you expect this to be back in front of the budget committee for serious consideration?
I don't know yet. One of the things we're going to do based on some money that you put back in the budget is get somebody to give us some advice as to, we're already, we've gotten two so competing information that one, don't do it in an off year, do it in a, a regular year. Next year, obviously, is an off year. The second one being, an off year is a good time to do it because people aren't all inundated by everything else. So one of the things that's one of the things we're going to have serious discussion for the next couple of months. I suspect that probably you'll be, whichever way we go, you're probably going to be called back. I'm going to say April, May.
And that was, you'll be getting that assistance through the professional services line that we restored it? Okay. Any further, Mr. Titus?
Just one real quick one, thanks for the clarity. For me to really feel comfortable, this will be our first bonding, I think, long time. So if we're going to go down the road of bonding, and I'm not necessarily against bonding, but we have to look at other things. I don't want to see personally that we approve a bond package, and then the very next year after we approve the bond package, there's a lot of capital stuff that should have been in that bond package that we're going to pay out of cash. It's very hard to do both, to pay bonds down and also pay for capital movements, capital items with cash. So finding that mix is very, very important to me. So if you've got a 10-year or 20-year durable item that could be in this, it should be. I don't want to see it in the next county meeting, a budget meeting we have that should have been in this, the rest of the cash flow. So I'm saying add stuff to this to make sure it's a package that makes sense financially for the next 5 to 10 years, not just what I see in this.
One of the other things that we are, Dave and I talked about, we are looking at, we're spending $50,000 a year to repair roofs. And, that we may have to add that to fit what you're talking about.
Very much so. A durable item and a vehicle that's going to last 10 years, not a sheriff's vehicle, it's only good for a couple of years, but a vehicle that's going to last 10 years or a piece of equipment you're going to have that's going to last at least 10 years or more. At least have a proposal so we can look at it. Maybe that'll save us from having to ask us a year after for a $50,000 regular bill.
Anything further? Mr. Rennie?
I'd like to thank the conservation for proposing the vote this year. We don't have to stop and all the departments, sheriff, attorney, everybody. It was not all the way around. And just on behalf of citizens in my town, what you did, you done.
Anything further from the committee? I see Commissioner Medora. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for participating in this. I think we are an example of the way this should be, and so I'm glad you all for that, taking your time to join us and giving your best efforts. Thanks for the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Medora. With all of that said, if you disagree with Mr. Richardson, I think this is very exciting work. I appreciate everyone's patience. I know it's kind of an unusual year, and I can tell which male voice is which at all the whole time. But I think we did a nice job. I will bring this forward to the commissioners on November 4th as part of that process, and we'll try to add some color to the numbers that come forward to them about the discussions we had here. Thank you all for your service and for coming every week. It was very impressive in different capacities. So that's good.
I just want to, again, thank the budget committee for the fact that, when I first got here, and I've said this before, I walked up to the first budget committee meeting of the year, and 10 minutes after I landed in the budget committee meeting, I said, what have I got myself into? But I want to tell you, we're all on the same team, and it feels it, and I just appreciate the work that you've done and that camaraderie.
All right. Are we now ready to present that? That's okay. Get it all out while we're here. Who's got a motion for you? Mr. Rennie, seconded by Mr. Kroll. Any discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you all.